Let's play! Hi guys, welcome back to Let's Play Narcissu. Let's hop right back in. Chapter 3, The Silver Coupe. But it was still a blow. With Lynn's... we are off to a great start. With funds this limited, there was no chance we were going to sleep in hotel beds. I could guess that the girl wouldn't have any money on her. I'd seen what she put in the bag. Just medicine. What? Nothing. Well, I've been expecting it to turn out like this. We were actually pretty well off, given that we set out without any planning or preparation. In any case, there was no point in sitting around. I wanted to be on the move, not stuck in a lay-by. We pulled into the road again, under the setting sun. How are you doing? Getting hungry yet? Come to think of it, we'd neither of us eaten since breakfast. Next town we come to, shall we try to find a grocery? Try to find a grocery. Does people say that? It's usually a grocery store. You don't just say, let's go to a I don't know. And grab some food? No chance. Don't get picky now. In any case, anything's gonna be better than what they give us back on the 7th floor. She looked down at herself silently. And I realized what the problem was. Those pink pajamas. Heh, good point. I glanced down at my own outfit. I had to admit that we were gonna stick out rather if we didn't change into daytime clothes. Respectable attire would have to be a priority. So the next time we reached a turning for a town, I took it. I don't know what the town was called, nor the name of the street we ended up on. We were somewhere near a station. There was quite a few people around for that time of day. There's bound to be somewhere around here. I drove along slowly, sitting upright, looking in all directions. There we are. An automatic laundrette. It was on the ground floor of a rather dilapidated-looking block. This looked as good a place as any. I parked a little way up the street. I'll be back in a moment. Huh? I shut the car door on her questioning look and strolled back to the laundrette. The door slid open as I approached, letting out a puff of hot air that filled my nostrils with a scent of bleach. The walls were lined with antiquated washing machines and tumble dryers. The place was as run down inside as out. Anybody here? There was nobody there. Only one machine was in use. A tumble dryer in the far corner was emitting a deep hum. I strode over to it and peered at the timer. It was barely 5 minutes into the 200 yen half-hour cycle. Whoever was using it must have had better things to do than to wait for it to finish. I peered back outside just in case they were still in sight. There were no likely suspects to be seen. So I went back to the machine and yanked the door open. The failsafe kicked in and the drum stopped spinning. I tugged the bundled laundry out, trying to ignore the heat and cloying steam. Then, taking a lot in both arms, I took one last look around and stepped back outside. So he stole someone's clothes? Really? That's I don't know. It's like, on the one hand, they're going to die, and this is like their only time to do this, but on the other hand, you're stealing someone's clothes, man. That's pretty low. But then again, did he say I don't think he would steal them all. Maybe, I don't know. The car door slammed shut beside me. Oh. Apparently she hadn't guessed where I was going. My armful of damp laundry provoked a gasp. I dumped the lot on the back seat. Off we go. A perfect getaway. I was steering more confidently now, with one hand on the wheel. The mound of laundry filled the rear view mirror. From what I could see, it was all menswear, flashy jeans and sweatshirts, all in a pretty large size. Mostly still wet, but we had a heater on high, so it wasn't going to stay that way for long. There must be something you can wear in that lot. She didn't reply. She just looked unenthusiastically at the heap. We're just going to have to make the best of it. Yeah, I know. I'd be the first to admit that I wasn't happy with the choice of clothes or the methods involved in acquiring them. I was even willing to concede that we didn't have any specific plans for the money we had. But in the circumstances, given how limited our resources are, there was still no way we could justify a shopping spree. We drove on until the moon became clear in the sky. Then, I set about finding a quiet, well-lit street where we could stop. I ended up pulling up next to a kid's playground in the middle of some leafy suburb. Then began the task of sorting the heap and finding out exactly what I'd managed to liberate. The heater had done the job. The clothes were quite dry by now. Thought so. It's all men's stuff. There really wasn't much apart from jeans and sweatshirts I'd glimpsed earlier. They were pretty close to my size, though. The previous owner must have been about my build. I picked out a suitable pair of jeans and a shirt I could bear to be seen in, and began to wriggle into them as best as I could in the confined space. Come on, get yourself into something. They're all too big. Are you just gonna stay in your pajamas then? Oh, alright. Clearly reluctant, but recognizing the need, she took some garments from the heap and opened her door. Where are you going? To get changed. Of course, she was heading for the public toilets next to the playground. That was quick. She was dressed now, navy jeans and a white sweatshirt. Her pink pajamas were now in her hand. Glad you could find something. She didn't reply. I was surprised. The fit was as awful as I'd feared. The clothes were practically hanging off of her. She'd had to turn her trouser legs quite a way just to be able to walk in them. Her sleeves had the same treatment. Shouldn't be her sleeves have had? No, had. No, that's right. It's just awkward. I was better off in my pajamas. Don't say that. At least you'll be warmer this way. She replied only with a slight pout. I guess they were a bit more, feminine? Whatever. She was no more talkative than ever. I'd been expecting her to at least sulk a little over the clothes, but instead she just retreated back behind her usual expressionless mask. It had started to rain. It sheeted down from the cold January sky, as though it had forgotten how to stop. The windscreen was gradually obscured by the hammering raindrops. After a while, as the mass built up, they began to... I don't even know that word. I'm not... Honestly, I'm good with English words, like... pretty good. I can't even pronounce that. Coalesce? Coalesce? I don't even know. Well, regardless, the beads brimmed and overflowed, sending rivulets trickling down the glass. As those streams met and gathered strength and picked up further volume from the rain, the windscreen became a riverbed. For a while, I just sat in the driver's seat, watching the rain. A lonely lay-by, somewhere up in the hills. We paused at the grocery to buy some food. This is where we stopped for the night. We hadn't brought much. 2 onigiri, that means rice balls, each. 2 half-liter bottles of Pocari, isn't that like the little guys from Minish Cap? And a potato between us. It's been a while since I've had stuff like this. Yeah. She nodded agreement, picking up her first onigiri. Onigiri. Not something that most people would consider particularly wonderful, but compared to the food on the 7th floor, it seems special enough. Then, as we each reached out for the potato, her hand suddenly stopped. Something wrong? No. She whispered. She was staring at the windscreen. I followed her gaze. We had parked in front of a bank of flowers. White flowers, dripping in the rain. I couldn't guess whether they were the wild or cultivated, but I did recognize the shape. It's those Narcissus? Narcissi. You probably know them better as daffodils. Well, that's just like pedantic. Oh, are they the same thing? I'd be the first to admit that botany was never a strong point of mine, but even I have heard of daffodils. And once again, their appearance seemed to coax some rare words out of the girl, who usually spoke only when necessary. For that reason alone, I felt it was worth pursuing the conversation. Are these the same kind then, or something different? Different. What? Really? Those other ones must be pretty rare then. Not really. They're all over the place. Anywhere in particular? I didn't ask with any particular aim in mind. That was just where the conversation happened to lead. But she paused to think about it before opening her mouth again. West. In the west? Particularly on Awajishima. Awajishima? Hang on. Do you have any idea how far that is from here? It's an island out in the Hyogo Prefecture, south of Kobe. Though I wasn't sure exactly where we were, I could say for a fact that she was talking about a place halfway across the country. I couldn't imagine how long it would take to drive there. I've never attempted a trip like that. I wasn't sure if I could if I wanted to. I was pretty sure that we didn't have enough money to cover that sort of journey in any case. Why don't they just steal money from the bank? That was horrible. We probably wouldn't even have enough to cover the fuel costs, not even if we stayed off the highways to save money. Don't be silly. You must know there's no way we could get that far. Who said anything about going there? Huh? I was just answering your question. The conversation died there. She clammed up and just sat there, gazing at the flowers. Even after the glass steamed over with our breath thanks to the cold rain outside, she still didn't shift her gaze. I didn't particularly want to go to Awajishima either. But then I didn't particularly want to go anywhere in particular. That was the end. Oh, that was chapter 2 apparently. Oh, so I lied at the beginning. Okay, so next time we'll cover chapter 4 maps. I'm actually really getting into this game, surprisingly. At first I was like, did I pick the right game? But this is good. Though the girl kind of pisses me off. I'm going to be honest. Normally by this point, they've redeemed themselves and they realize that she can open up. This chick is no, she doesn't want to open up at all. Okay, see you guys next time. Ciao.